People are gonna get in here. Let me see something real fast. Uh-oh. Storm puppy. Storm puppy. Yo. Yo, yo. Yo, do me a favor, give me a sound check. I always gotta check these things. Somebody type in the chat, let me know. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Hey, y'all do me a favor, type something in the chat for me real fast. Let me know you can hear me. Man, appreciate you all eyes on media. All right, so I'll give y'all a quick a double header. So I just did something real fast. What up, Marcus? And so yeah, we're gonna get a double header real fast. We're gonna do a double header. What up, Ricky? I ain't see you earlier, man. What up, Ricky Skills? All right, so now we just synced up Sarah Jane. So me and the Prime Minister, we're gonna get together tomorrow and we're gonna do a joint. So what's the dude name? Deontay Wilder, I guess a boxer, is in the news. We went off on a reporter on this, you know what I'm saying, 400 years, a slave thing. And for every human experience, I can always find the cosmic correspondence that mirrors that. And the unique thing about the external science is it allows you to measure the future, and that's dope because that measurement in the future gives you a pretty good idea of what you can expect from the decisions that humanity is going to make. So anyway, slavery, karma, Pluto, force. Pluto is brute force against your willpower. Saturn is restraint and government. Now, there's a video that's been out for years on YouTube. I think it's called Quantum Astrology. A white guy crushed it. And he showed, and it's a good study, I need to study this. He showed many world governments tend to have a major checkup and fall down and collapse when Saturn and Pluto are aligned. You know, Pluto is in Capricorn right now, and so is Saturn. Saturn is more in the early parts, 3, 4 degrees, 5, 6 up in there. And Pluto is more in the mids. All right. And so when Saturn and Pluto come together, government, which is Saturn, Pluto, which is the annihilation or the implosion, the deterioration or the annihilation, the transformation, the ending. That's what happens when Pluto and Saturn come together in Capricorn, which is again the sign of government. And Saturn has this, Saturn's at home. Now, it's interesting because Saturn's at home and Donald Trump, and this great alignment is 2020, you know what I mean, where they're really going to be locked in on each other. And Jupiter is actually going to come over there as well. And this is going to be a very interesting thing because 2020, you can perhaps see something that is definitely going to be transformational. The unique thing about it is, and I might have to really start blowing the horn on this and talking more about it. And Ricky, this is where you come in at with some of the work that you're doing with the Prime Minister, is this could be vicious. This is very vicious because we're talking about complete mayhem and what they would call tyranny if we don't get our act together as the unconscious observer. Yeah, the unconscious observer. And so, again, Saturn is government and restriction and Pluto is force. And so those two in combinations do represent slavery. But now that they're coming together in the sky in a close alignment, in a direct straight line with one another, in Capricorn and sign of government, it's time to pay up. This is interesting, man, because we hear this 400 years a slave thing. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. But I'm trying to figure out where 400 years a slave. Inside of America? Because you weren't a slave for 400 years in America. They say, the record books say 1619, so either A, you're fabricating and saying, hey, we were slaves way before that, all the way up to 18. We were slaves from the 1400s up into 1865, because it's a fact that in 1865, the end of the Civil War, official slavery in America was not popping no more. That's a fact. And I got the memoirs of war generals talking about ain't no slavery's gone. Slavery don't exist down here no more in Louisiana. I'm not going by this hearsay, she say stuff with these niggas. I just gotta say, I couldn't come up with a better word. I'm reading literally memoirs of war generals. I studied the art of war for real, like what they said. And so 1619 plus 400 years equals 2019. That's in January. That's coming up. And so it's over. 400 years technically is over at 2019. But I know what it is. I know what it is. We know what it is. It is clearly a misappropriation or misunderstanding of the Bible when it says that you will be a stranger in the land for 400 years. Which is interesting to us because we say that, hey, you don't like the Bible, you don't rock with the Bible, but you're walking into that motif. Now, this is very interesting because we keep telling y'all that the observer is the one that really creates the phenomenon. Because in that passage, God is talking to Abram, who will later become Abraham. And then Abraham will be the one who said, listen, 1861 Civil War, 1865 is over. He's the one that would get the credit for being the commander-in-chief when slavery is over, right? Abraham and slavery, just like it was in the scripture. And so technically, if we're going to go from 1619, I think I'm going to give you 246 years of slavery, 1619 to 1865. And then from 1865 to 2019 is 154 years. There go your 400 years right there, right? So you got 154 years post 1865. I like to call it the Civil Rights era, because from 1865 and just 103 years is 1968. That's the death of Martin Luther King. That was only 51 years ago today from 2019, okay? And so that's not far. So King, Rodney King, to Mike Brown, to Sandra Bland's in these little, and only reason I'm saying little because it's not a KKK rampant type of thing where, you know, the Jim Crow type of era, 60s, we putting you on the back of the bus, we putting dogs and water hoses on you, we beating you. Flat out, period. That's just the name of the game, nigger. It ain't that type of ball game no more. So we got to be real about that. So that's why I say little. What I'm about to say is these random spurts of glitches that happen inside of our reality called, you know, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, things of that nature. God bless the dead. Rest in peace. And so a lot of work to be done, but we are in the post-slave era. I like to call this era the police brutality era. And honestly, in comparison to the 51 years ago, Martin Luther King, I'm going to say that it's not as rampant as it was. There's some type of change that has occurred, because you went from chains to billionaires, but there's a lot of stuff that's in between right here, okay? And so this great alignment of 2020, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, the truth. Jupiter's the truth, the judge as well. It is a cosmic mandate and meeting of the judges and gods for real. Because Pluto represents the end, Capricorn is the government, and Saturn is the representative of the government, and Jupiter represents I'm coming with the truth. In old mythology, Jupiter, Zeus, the son of Saturn, Kronos, this is the clash of the Titans. When the son went against the father to go to war because the father wanted to have his head. So anytime Jupiter and Saturn aligns in your own chart, there's an internal clash of the Titans that exists within your reality. The scale, the world at large, is going to see this take place within government. 2020. It's going to be very interesting. So all this, what we feel about Trump, is just the precursor. This is just the little smoke before, you know, the big fire that is potentially on the way. Because the karmic debt has to be settled. And it absolutely must be settled because, again, if we're going to accept the 400 years, then 2019, it's over. It's up. We got to do something else now. We got to do something. We got to create something. The best thing that we could do, I'm really about to get back into my minister mode. The old school me with the bow tie and go back to the roots and really start preaching. It's coming upon me. It's inevitable. The best thing that we could do is present a deal. It will be cowardly of us to know what a problem is in the world and not present a solution to the commander-in-chief. Trump is a deal maker. His biggest success is the art of the deal, far as He's known as the art of, from the art of the deal. I'm going to keep using Flint, Michigan as the pricking point in our sides to show where we drop the ball at. Remember, Saturn is a co-ruler of Aquarius, which is the people. So we, the people, are supposed to be responsible because we, the people, in what you would call a republic or a democracy, go out and vote for who we say is the best person to represent. So we, the people, also have to say, hey, we got to do X, Y, Z. Even if you have to do the Declaration of Independence and abolish certain things or form of government in order to fix the problem. Because if not, what Pluto represents is the dirty aspect of Pluto is nasty, because then it deals with, see, go look at some keywords for Pluto and watch you see sewers. Like the stuff that takes your feces out of the house into the street. It deals with waste. It's nasty hidden things. It represents, Pluto is your darkest, nastiest aspects of your own unconscious. So now, either we're going to unconsciously project our nasty emotions based off of the post-traumatic slave syndrome that we have, which we've been doing, and that energy is going to crystallize and take form in the way of an event to get us to do something. But I don't know what could be worse than Hurricane Katrina to get people to do nothing, because we still didn't do enough. We will sit back and say, the government, man, they got to do better than this. They got to do better than this. In the same FEMA camps that people say that is concentration camps for us to be locked into, we actually fell back and allowed that conspiracy organization, so-called conspiracy organization of FEMA, to be able to assist our very own brothers and sisters in the aspect of Hurricane Katrina. Because we sat back and elected to do nothing. Pluto, the deep nastiness of the collective unconscious. Because we are addicted to pain. Pluto being pain, Saturn being I want to hold on to. So now we faced with an option. Put a deal together. So I went back, Spirit led me last night to go into the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, what the Muslims want. And there's another one, what we believe. And I was sharing this with the Prime Minister today, where I found us in the story, once again, where the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and y'all go look it up. You talk about we want freedom, but we believe that this freedom should be either A, in America, or B, we can leave here and to be somewhere else, and the federal government should actually assist in the process. And the former slaveholders, this is key, the Confederates, that was not the United States. That's very interesting that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad did not, he made a distinction. He didn't say the federal government of the United States should pay. He said the former slave holders, which we can identify as the Confederates, should actually pay and give us 20 to 25 years of some form of payment to assist this independent state that exists within the United States. Very clear. So this ain't no separation from the Union. It's you adding and becoming the 51st state within. The United States government is all about making states. They have 50 contracts on the record. They say, yep, you're a state, and together we are the United States. So to make a state and have a state, that ain't never been a problem. The United States is all about creating states. Each state has its own laws, its own aspects of consciousness. We just got to figure out where's the locale and what we're going to go in and buy and build. The Great American Eclipse showed it. I showed y'all that in a free webinar, or maybe that's here on this channel somewhere. It's on my website for free, myastrologycoach.com. Downloads. Download that zip folder. It may be an audio file in the PDF, and just follow along with the audio. myastrologycoach.com. Free downloads. The American Eclipse, if it's still up. It should still be up. That Great American Eclipse that happened, what was that, last year, August 21st, 22nd, right up in there? And it happened dead over Carbondale, Illinois. Show you how miraculous God is for real. You go Google Southern Illinois on Wikipedia and see if they don't call Southern Illinois Little Egypt. Yeah, Little Egypt. Zoom in on the map on Southern Illinois and tell me if you don't go find a city called Karnak. Like in Karnak over in Egypt. Tell me that city at the bottom of Illinois that sit on the river of Illinois, the Mississippi and the Ohio, which is our White and Blue Nile River, is not called Cairo, as of in Cairo, Egypt. Go up the road on the left side following the Mississippi River in Illinois and tell me you don't see a city called Thebes, as in Thebes, Egypt. Tell me there ain't a national park in Illinois called the Pyramid National Park in Illinois. And they calling all this stuff Little Egypt. Now the question I would have is, why would the white man at that day and time name all of these things after Egypt if the goal was to hide things from us? See, you got to remember, in the United States, I'm just going to tell you, you got two spirits. Either it's the spirit of order, which is the Union, or it's the spirit of chaos, which is the Confederates. You got two spirits. You got two white men. Google image Masonic jurisdiction map, especially on the Scottish Rite. And watch you see that the northern states are only probably like a few. Illinois, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, maybe Jersey, New York, Massachusetts. Okay? Those northern states, everybody else from Cali, Iowa, everybody else, everybody else is under the southern jurisdiction when it comes to European Freemasonry. But the northern jurisdiction are the same northern states that were the safe haven for the slaves. It was a takeover. Alright? Showing you this. Go Google image it yourself so you can see it with your own eyes. And so there's already talk. You got to watch Spirit. You can go Google Illinois secedes from Chicago, because some residents in the state is like, yo, y'all put Illinois, you put too much focus on Chicago. Let Chicago be the 51st state then, man. But we need our own budget, and we need to start focusing on other things up in the state versus Chicago. But that's nothing more than the spirit starting to prime this thing called a future reality to get us to build. Okay? So that great American eclipse that was coming over that region, and nobody's talking about this because don't know. See, they don't study. They don't shut up and measure. Nobody's talking about the eclipse that's coming in 2024. Why? It's too far away. Nobody's talking about the 2024 eclipse. That the eclipse that can be seen from Mexico, and then it's going to diagonally cross over exactly where the eclipse was visible at on the Mississippi River and right by southern Illinois, and it's going to go up into Indiana and come up into northern East Ohio, Cleveland, up in that area. It's going to do this X. So when you look at the first eclipse and the second eclipse, it's forming the X, which represents Osiris, which is the resurrection. Hello? So remember, so y'all gotta quit thinking, man, listen, man. We say it all the time. The hieroglyphs are walking animated beings called you and I. You are the true and living God. It ain't about studying cuneiform and Sanskrit and looking at stuff on walls. That's corny. Don't do nothing. The energy is animated inside of you. You want to know how dope God is, man? God is so dope that you had an African war general by the name of Hannibal, who you say was the coldest war general of all times. But in the United States of America, when you were a slave, your people was a slave, it was a dude by the name of Hannibal Hamlin who became the first Republican vice president, who was against slavery in the United States. That's on a record. Against slavery in the United States. And he came in with the Lincoln administration. That's interesting. That you had Hannibal across seas, and then you have another Hannibal that knew that we are going to end up going to war over this black slave thing. That's how dope God is. He give you two Hannibals, Cain and Abel. The left and right side of your brain is a mirror of functions to bring about the whole piece. You are the red and blue pill. Literally. That's why they show you certain things. Okay? You got to understand that the duality is one. So the second eclipse that's coming, X marks the spot, is coming dead over. Now check this out and tell me if I'm lying. Go look in southern Illinois and you're going to see a city called Future City in Illinois. Ain't nothing there. Nothing's there. They probably don't even got their own post office. Don't even have a light. There's something there called Future City in Illinois. See, I know what folks do. Oh, it's too cold. I want to live somewhere sunny. Hey, you can live anywhere you want to, man. I'm just saying. At some point in time, we're going to have to call a spade, and we're going to have to take Saturn responsibility of building our own. Hence, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, listen, this is what we want. And also inside of that, what we want, he said the federal government should actually intercede in these cases where black folks are locked up to ensure that things are done properly. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. That technically means you're pulling the Union soldier card. If you're asking the federal government to come in to oversee a process, then that's no different, and that's the exact same thing what Martin Luther King did. Because if you don't know, when Martin Luther King and the freedom fighters were going up against the mob in Alabama and Mississippi, I want y'all to go Google General Henry Graham. It was General Henry Graham of the National Guard of Alabama who used to come down south and make sure Martin Luther King and them was straight by the order of the National Guard. And used to tell the KKK and them, y'all ain't touching nobody up in this church that's having a meeting. In fact, give me your 17 police cars, give me your police helicopter, and I'm taking some airplanes, and we're going to take your racist state police vehicles, and we're going to put the freedom fighters in there, and we're going to get them across the border. That's what we about to do. Now that's gangster stuff right there. And I ain't lying. Look it up. General Henry Graham. Nobody's talking about that aspect of the game. You know why? Because everybody is stuck on emotional pain and nobody's talking the truth about the history of the art of war. See, that's Mars. I got Mars very well aspected, I must say. Okay? 5 degrees Aquarius. Go to fixed stars and look at 5 degrees Aquarius and watch you find a star called Bos, B-O-S. Anybody born with anything close to Bos represents military insight. It wouldn't let me be a Navy SEAL because I was from the streets and did some things back in the day where they say, nah, nigga, we don't trust you in the government. We ain't letting you in here. So let's go be a Navy SEAL. That's how my mind works. Saturn, Pluto, the karma, the debt, the payback, the payoff. We get to define what it is, and it don't have to be nasty and gory. Because the truth of the matter is, we ain't about that life anyway. We ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? When Nas and Puff just came out with something, that Nas joint, and Puff, what Puff say? Lucky we compassionate. Man, Minister Jew hit that on the head. Compassionate. Niggas ain't compassionate. Niggas is afraid. Talking about compassionate. You're afraid. When you ever pick up something and you gonna go bust somebody upside the head inside the system. You don't want to do that because you know that's a problem and you can't get out that situation. Rightfully so. You know, compassionate. How we compassionate towards the so-called man, but ain't compassionate amongst our own people and we rob them, steal them, and have them killed and all that kind of stuff. Get out of here, compassionate. You afraid. Scared to death, man. You a shook one. Don't mistake it, y'all. Don't mistake it. All right? And so, see, Saturn is government. So when I get on my government vibe, you got to address it for what it is. You see what I'm saying? As it pertains to the collective whole. All right? And so we got to build. And the government starts with you, yourself. You, your own government ordinance department, they like to say, the real G-O-D, right? And then what are we going to do collectively? All right? Because I'm looking at some stats that's alarming me. Like, I'm shook. I'm like really shook, man. Because, like I said in the previous video, man, like the wealth, the projection of wealth and the wealth gap is scary. Wealth for blacks, African Americans is diminishing. It's the only race or group of people where our income is going backwards. And I refuse to believe that it's solely based upon us being slaves at one particular time. And, you know, people looking at your application and they think you black and they not giving you a job. Like, nah, man. Right now, they say, according to 2016 numbers, we went backwards in median, which means average income, to a little under 40,000, like 39 and some change. So let's just call it 40 racks a year. Now, the first test that we have to do, because they said since for 30 years from 1973 to 2013, our wealth has been shrinking. Okay? This is what the stats say. So I want you to think back 10 years ago and put it in the chat. Be honest. 10 years ago, think about the liquid cash that you had available at one time. Okay? And then I want you to compare to where you at right now, 10 years right now, of what you have available right now. And I bet you they are identical. If not, you're probably in a worse situation. And then my second test will be, do you got $3,000 liquid cash right now sitting? 5,000, 10,000. Most likely not, right? And so if your own situation has been the same, then technically that you've got worse, because over time things cost more, inflation. So if you made the same last year, then you lost because things keep going up. So you lost, let alone 10 years ago. You feel me? And so if we're at 40,000, the Asians are first, like at, I think, where they at? I want to say 81, if I'm not mistaken. Europeans come in at 65, and the Spanish come in like at, I want to say 47. Yeah, they come in like at 47, and we come in at 39. All right. There's only one thing that we have to do. One thing. And I said it in the last video I just did today. To fix this problem. To solve the problem, and you would be number one. Find one house to flip and make the average profit from the flip, which is a little over $60,000. So now you're 60 plus you right at 40, 39, but let's call it 40. You are now at $100,000. You're in the number one position when it comes to income. Flip just one property, but flip two, so you know, taxes, things like that, but flip two to be on the safe side and get more money. But literally, if you can meet the average flip, then that means if you flip one deal a year, just one, then you will be in the highest, you'll be the highest group of people making money. To be in the top feed, what is it? 300 and I want to say 319,000. No, it ain't even that much. It's actually 299. So you need 300. You need 300,000. To get that number, you just need to do 5 to 6 deals a year, and you would be in the top 5% of the entire nation of making money. You're in the top 5% if you can just find 5 deals to flip, 5 houses to flip. And I'm getting into this in this webinar because, you know, I branched off last year and started doing more of the real estate and tangible things. Because I'm the one, I don't mind playing spooky set about it though. You said the Masons run the world? Sign me up. Where? Where the lodge at? The Masons run the world, brother. Secret societies. Really? That's interesting to me. They run the world? Where they at? Because I want to go. Sign me up. What's up? Oh, especially since they think they smart and they do these little gestures with their hands and stuff. Could you imagine? Like really think about this, right? It baffles me with people, right? When I was coming up in information, they made it look like the Masons run the world, and they also made it look like that the Masons are fake in the sense that they don't have the real information and they're stealing from us and they're copying off us. But at the same time, you say they run the world. But then if anybody went in there, then it was like, man, that you stupid, you a sellout, they run the world. And it's like, well, I can't imagine 2 Masons and me being around and I don't know what's going on and they having this communication to possibly do me in and I don't even know about it. Just because I'm ignorant of the language. Language should get you a long way, man. A long way. a long way in anything, in any culture. Learning how the very basics, saying hi, and being able to identify with their ideologies of God and start to talk about certain tenets within that, automatically you won, you brethren. I do it all the time. When I'm in Uber and they got Ganesha on the dashboard or Lord Shiva or something, and I know about it, I start talking about it and we had this great conversation. They, oh, how do you know Ganesha? Really? Oh, Islam? Oh man, look, my wife she made Hajj before. What? I am blessed tonight. You made Hajj? Like, we've been in these multicultural experiences because we studied at some point, embraced another aspect of a culture outside of ourselves. So now when you know the language, they're like, oh, you can't run, we can't run that. He good. He family. He straight. So I couldn't imagine anybody, let alone the man in powers that be, to be running some game on me, talking with some hand signs and gestures or something. I don't know nothing. No, I'm going to get that. Especially since we the fathers and mothers of civilization, then I'm going to get that. How you going to be the fathers and mothers of civilization and then the European Mason do a hand sign or do something you don't know what it means, but yet you the father and mother of civilization? Man, that melanin stuff ain't going to get you nowhere, Jack. Nowhere. Hence, when we look at the outcome, we've been in the same position. So we got to switch gears a little bit. We got to run into this Capricorn flow, what's taking place cosmically. Pluto giving you the power of government. Saturn giving you the responsibility to participate for your own success. Jupiter, the great truth and the expansion. It's time to expand. That's what it's time to do. It's time to expand and pick something out and grow. All right, and then the other aspect that I was going to talk about inside of then is what we believe, because you know Minister Jew is heavy on this Bible game. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we believe in the Bible. And then he said, however, we just believe that it's been tampered with and it's been altered and it needs to be reinterpreted. There needs to be a new translation. Therefore, we won't fall victim of the little hooks and snares that's inside of it. So when my brother is doing the knowledge and doing the work on the Bible, that has been observed by what some consider one of the greatest of all times when it comes to understanding how to organize people and move that power, move that organization. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wasn't playing, man, when he had your fish market, your shoes, your everything. When it came to the economics, it was real straight, like, let's get to it. Let's get to it. You know what I mean? And so, no more excuses, man. It's just no more excuses. It's time to get super duper busy. And slavery is over. Because if you say 400 years, 2019 makes it over for you inside of the United States. And it's time to, you gonna teach your kid, hey, we a slave. You wanna tell your kid that? I call my daughter right here and say, hey, look, baby girl, you a slave. She look at me like I'm crazy. Me, I'm a slave. That's retarded, right? Come on, man. That's what I mean by you can only tell the story two ways. Either you coming from the winning perspective or you coming from the loser victim perspective. And the only two ways to tell the story, man. The majority of the dialogue that we gonna hear, 400 years of slave, and did that, we still fighting, and we ain't equal. Okay, if you don't interject the solution in there, that means you just told the story from a losing perspective. And that gets you nothing but more situations to lose in. We can't do that. We gotta pick what we want. We need to we come together. That's why I created this Family Wealth Club, man. Family is wealth. And we always talk about it. Okay, cool. You're right. It is. Because right now, the stats, and I'm going to show it, the stats say income is shrinking, Jack. So our children is going to be broke. That's what it say. Ain't got no money now. So we on the road to being broke. Unless we change, something got to change. What's going to change? Somebody going to give us something? Or can we just go out and create an opportunity, man? One house, one flip. And it ain't got to be you, but you better assign somebody that's in your cabinet, because you the government. You need a cabinet. You need a team within whoever, family, distant family, friends that's like family, whoever, and say, hey, I raise my hand. I want to learn how to put a deal together. Because it ain't like you going in there with the hammer and you doing all the work and the plumbing and all that. Like, I ain't good at that stuff. I suck at that stuff. Man, there was a light bulb in a refrigerator, and the base of the bulb got stuck in there and the rest came out. And I was just baffled, like, wait, how? Oh man, that's messed up. And my wife went in there like, wait, give me this. You just gotta put it in and pull it. Like when it comes to mechanical things, my mind just turns goofy. And my dad, he works on mechanics, like, but when it comes to space and like, I'm good. But I'm like Einstein. Einstein is said to be very simple-minded when it comes to the most mundane matters. And I think we all like that in our respective fields, right? And so what we can do, and what we're going to do is, we got to assign somebody to say, listen, you the real estate guy, figure it out. Just put the deal together. Find a freaking contractor. That's the most important piece of the puzzle. Find a contractor and say, hey, yeah, I'll fix these homes for you. And that's trust me, that's the biggest piece of the puzzle. It's not the cash to buy the home. Because there's lenders out here called hard money. They don't care. They just give you a certain situation. So you just need to come with a little bit of cash. Okay? You're going to have to come up with a little bit of cash, but it ain't going to be a lot. You just come up with a little bit of cash. And that's what the whole power of the networking thing got to be. Because if you don't have that little bit of cash, then who can be your investor friend and say, yo, I got it. Come on, I got you. I'm going in and, I'm going to own X amount percentage of the deal and whatnot. You got to sell a piece of the deal to somebody to carry it. Then you come in and then flip that property, sell that property, take that profit line. But if you do 2 flips, the first one, because the average median income is under 40,000. The first one is profit, puts you at 100,000 for the year. So now you're number 1. The second one, if you're going to do 2, the second one can replace your job. And you still got an extra $20-something thousand left over from the average median. So now when you do the second one, or the one that you replace in your job, and you sell it and you get that 60 racks, put that 60 racks up and divide it by 12 and pay yourself every month the way you've been getting paid. Or that monthly payment that you got and you get paid every week divided by 4. This is basic math, basic common sense stuff, y'all. This stuff ain't hard. It cannot be this hard for us to get out the situation. I refuse to believe it. I know it's not. For being part of these real estate transactions, I know it's not that hard. These deals are very real and they're out there. So I'm going to get into that inside of the webinar, man. Again, it's Sunday. It's free. All right, Sunday is free. 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, so any questions in the chat before I go? Because I'm about to get ready to turn into homework guy and get ready for dinner and all that stuff, all right? Yeah, turn the front yards to gardens and all that good stuff, man. Food, and we can do the whole 9. Pluto in the 4th. Powerful ancestors. That's a powerful ancestral lineage. The 4th house to me ain't physical. It's family. It's real estate, home. But it's usually an ancestor, a family member who kind of looks after you. That's what they do. They look after you. So Pluto in the 4th is a powerful ancestor. And the 4th house is also known as the house of endings. So Pluto is dead, so I know it's definitely a powerful ancestor. You know what I'm saying? So you can have an ancestral altar or just kind of communicate with ancestors in a sense. It's straight. Powerful player in real estate, Pluto on the 4th. You know what I mean? So yeah, y'all got a question? If you got a question, shoot it. Shoot it to me. Pluto conjunct with the moon, powerful woman in your life. Should be a powerful woman in your life, or something about a woman that helps you transform powerful emotions as well. But it's something about, one thing about Pluto is you got to go through some form of conflict in order to become the butterfly, because it's transmutation and transformation. So it's the caterpillar to the butterfly. So with Pluto on the moon, there could be some type of intense conflict with the female energy that at some point in time helps you with your transformation. All right. Pluto is taking a negative and turning it into a positive, because that's what transmutation is. So it's the ancient alchemy of how do you turn lead into gold? How do you take one state and turn it into another state? Pluto and Capricorn. How do we take what has been perceived to be a bad government, bad energy, and transmute it into a positive, good energy? Okay. Erica, it's over at myastrologycoach.com under consultations tab. So it's a personal one-on-one. The average call is about an hour. I ain't pressed for time, but it's about an hour on average. Me and you be on the conference line. It's recorded. Take notes, of course, but as soon as we finish, I email you a link and you can download the MP3, and that's our conversation. Consists of any questions you have, of course. I always tell people, come with a game plan though. Like, what's your plan? I find joy when people have an idea and then being able to relate that idea to a time frame in the future, and then giving you a physical practice of visualization to do to help speed that up, or so it can manifest within that timeline. And so, you know, come with a goal for sure, and you're gonna knock it out the park, guaranteed. So myastrologycoach.com consultation tab, you'll see a consult with Noble, and take advantage of the 2018 special, because 2019 is going up for real. You know, being born during Saturn retrograde. So retrograde is really, no, watch this. That's a good question. So AK Gorilla, when you hear the word retrograde, physically thinking, what do you think? Like, how do you see that? What's the image that come up in your mind? Is the planet traveling backwards? Like, what's happening for it to be retrograde? What's your understanding of that? How do you check the house you're in? All right, JLT Mobile. What you do is you can go to astro.com. You got to know your birth time. The time tells you what everything is. So remember, the houses is just an area of space. So today, if I was born at 8 o'clock in the morning, the sun is in the east. But if I was born at 1 o'clock, then the sun is in the south. If I'm born at 5 o'clock, now the sun is in the west. So the time is showing you where the things are at, what portion of the sky they're in. And that's what's called the houses. The houses simply represent an area of space, and you must know a birth time for that location in question, where you was born at, in order to get the planets in the correct region of space. So that's how you find that. Neptune in the 5th with red and blue marks. So Neptune in the 5th, probably lying children, deceitful children, be careful, children that can mess with drugs, spiritual children, meditative children, musical children. So I would, that will be something dealing with children with that, and your own creativity as well. You know what I mean? All right, so similar to a passing car on the highway appearing to be going backwards, but going right. All right, so what's happening is it is the passing of the Earth is passing Saturn. And if we looked at Saturn, then it looked like Saturn is going backwards as we're passing by. And then the Mercury and Venus retrogrades are when those two planets are passing the Earth. So then from our viewpoint, it will look like if we, like, let's just say we God and we're looking at the solar system, and the solar system is a circle and it's a wall clock. And let's say Venus is at 12 o'clock. And then tomorrow, next month, it's at 11 o'clock. So it looked like it's coming closer to us, or it looked like it's just going towards the number 6. Then all of a sudden, when we see Venus go at 5 o'clock and 4 o'clock, we're like, whoa, it's going backwards. What is it? Why is it going backwards? It's going back towards the original point of observation. It looked like it's going back the other way, and it shouldn't be. According to, looking at it, we would think it wouldn't. So a retrograde simply means the Earth is actually in direct alignment with that planet. That's the truth. That's an Earth conjunction with that planet, because either that planet is passing us, or we, all the planets behind us, we are passing them. Now it is weird because obviously it creates some type of weird tunneling effect. Mercury retrogrades has an ill effect on electronics. Minister Jew just shared with me, I think it was down in Florida, it was an ATM that was spitting out $100 bills. Like somebody would put in, for some reason they put in a 20, but I don't know why they put money in it, but they put something in and hundreds was coming out. Like Mercury retrograde has this affinity on planets. Venus retrograde tends to have an effect on relationships. Saturn retro is always going to deal with the energy that it governs. So Saturn is going to come back to a parent. It's going to come back to success. It's going to come back to your structure. All right. So then the retro simply means, okay, I need to probably take a little bit more time with that. It's not maybe necessary so go lucky and it's fast and off the hip. A little bit more conservative in your approach to pull the trigger on the subject matter at hand. The subject matter at hand is the sign and the house that it's in that's doing the retro. So it could be not that it's a little bit more harder to manifest, it's just more of taking your time to pull the trigger. Now, when there's another Saturn retrograde, this is the time for you to go ham because you got home court advantage at this time. And this is the time to go, 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 while everybody else is feeling like, oh shit, this passing, I'm not used to this. You were born with this. So this is when you get home court advantage. So this is your most ample time. If any planets are in retrograde, when that planet retrogrades to mirror what you were born with, this is your time to go in as it pertains to that area, space that it was in, i.e. the house. All right. So just take your time on accumulating things and being successful and being disciplined. That's Saturn. That's it. So sometimes people look at retrogrades like you got to come back and you got to learn a lesson. You got to come back and pay attention to X, Y, Z. So it's just all of them are the same at the core in a sense. You just got to analyze. The planet tells you the subject matter. You know what I'm saying? All right. Oh man, North Node in Libra, I got that too. So the node in Libra is you're here to learn about relationships, the marriage types. That's your karmic point. That's your point of growing, and something about that experience is going to help you complete your soul's mission. It's also considered to a degree, it's kind of malefic. It's known as Ra'u, the dragon's head. So a dragon has fire. If somebody come and they got like Saturn on your North Node, or they got Sun on your North Node, Mars on your Node, like those things can turn nasty. This is what Chris Brown and Rihanna had. They had a North Node Sun conjunction, and it turned violent. Somebody's going to be forced to grow. And so the North Node is not it's the cherry on top of the whipped cream. It's my favorite marker in the chart still, because it represents the completion of the soul's mission. And maybe we'll do the next live, we'll do that North Node. In fact, we will. So North Node in Libra, you're here to grow into relationships. So that means that the South Node is in Aries, and Aries is the conquest and all about self. So in the past, you conquered. In the past, you were selfish. In the past, it was all about you. In the past, you neglected relationships. This go around, you got to put some emphasis on relationships. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's vice versa for King 87. North Node, you get the hey, peace. You get the pass. You get the cosmic pass to be selfish. North Node in Aries, you get a cosmic pass to be selfish. Do you? Because in the past life you were in Libra, which means that you didn't already sacrifice for the relationship. So you got to watch out for not falling in the pattern of sacrificing your ambitions, your passions, for the sake of a relationship. You got the pass to be selfish. So do you. That's the North Node in Aries. Alright? Alright, folks. That's what it is. Right, you keep attracting those Libras because your South Node is there, your past is there. So it's easy for them to activate. Now, that may be alright, though, because that also can represent a past life soulmate. Because if the South Node is what your soul did in the past, and then you start attracting the Libra, and then the Libra's right there, and if she's very close to your node, then that represents this is a person from your past for real. You know what I'm saying? So this when you want to get in my compatibility system, because you need to be able to understand what is the dynamic of that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because it's definitely coming from the past, but you know, just because you look good, you know what I mean, that don't mean that we ain't gonna go to war later. Because I may do something that totally piss you off and trigger some unconscious past life memories that's gonna get us to going to war with each other. Because right now you're in opposition to my soul's growth. You know what I'm saying? What was the last one, AK? Sun is my North Node conjunct with my Mercury. And so that's just giving you the personal alignment. So if the Sun and Mercury are together close to the North Node, Mercury is your mind, what you think, what you articulate, what you express. The Sun represents your being or the spirit. It's your character. The North Node is your soul's mission and your growth. And so then your mind needs to be perfectly aligned with that. And then what you personify, who you are, is a reflection of that as well. So it's like a triple cheeseburger. You know what I mean? That's some fat stuff, right? Like a triple cheeseburger from Wendy's. It's like, it's all the same thing. This patty plus this patty plus this patty is all making one good burger. So it's dealing with Libra relationships. So then everything should be centered around having nice, productive partnerships. Libra is marriage partners, business partners, and close friends. And so partnerships, generally speaking, partnerships are very, very important for you. Your mind should be there. Your energy should radiate that, along with your soul's mission completing that as well. All right? And so that's what that is, man. Oh, JT Mobile, you finally figured out something, son, at 15 degrees. What sign? JT been trying to figure this thing out in a moment, man. I gotta give you props. You figured it out. 15 degrees, what sign? 15 degrees is the middle of any zodiac sign. Well, technically 14, 15. Because it's only 30 degrees of the zodiac sign, so anytime something's 15, it's dead middle. So it's the center point of the sign. So it's kind of like the heart of the sign, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? JLT Mobile, what is it? Yeah, dude, crazy. I'm trying to stay away from Libras. They sicken. Yeah, they a different type of air sign, man. They ain't like Gemini and Aquarius air. They different. They got a little watery, clingy element to them. Like Gemini and Aquarius is more straight air. I'm trying to get you in, JLT. What time is it? 4:55. Alright, man. Maybe you'll pull it up next time. Alright? But yeah, definitely rock with me. Anything on Scorpio and Venus and Cancer and Venus compatibility. Scorpio and Venus, Cancer. Yeah, they're both water. The Scorpio and the Cancer, so that would be a trine. If we just dealing with that aspect all by itself, that will be a trine, and therefore the elements of the sign are conducive. So water is the commonality, which translate to mean spirit, emotions, meditation, music, softness. It's a yin energy, my favorite energy that represents just soft, intimate connections. All right. Yours truly. We're gonna do the North Node tomorrow. I promise. All right. So 15 Aquarius. Okay, man. So welcome, man. Welcome to the Aquarius zone. MyZodiacShirts.com, man. MyZodiacShirts.com. I mean, 15 Aquarius, man. I mean, it's just the Aquarian definition, right? The rebel, think different, utilize technology. So if you're doing mobile detailing, you absolutely need a mobile app where people can hit you and you can get to them and whatnot. So technology is your friend as an Aquarian. Groups of people, friends, and being a part of some organization that deals with change, social change, upliftment for the better of humanity. 15 Aquarius, again, that puts you in the center point of the sign. So 15 degrees of any sign, like I just said, is literally the center point, the heart, the pulse of that sign. So it's fair to say that you are the heart of the Aquarian. All right. I don't know. I don't know. For me, if I don't know. Like if it's astro stuff, nobody tells you that I haven't seen it. But if it's astral stuff, man, the best book, y'all, it would be Robert Hand's book, Planets and Transits. Planets and Transit by Robert Hand is an excellent book to get an interpretation, because this interpretation be like, I love Robert Hand, but it's the only astrology dude I read. I don't read nothing else by nobody else. Planets in Transit by Robert Hand. It's a black book with like these pink planets on it. I'm looking over here at my bookshelf to see if I got something else for you. That's that. And if on the technology side, and any business needs that y'all want, man, Fiverr is a great resource. Fiverr.com to make anything you want. Architects over there, graphic designers over there, people publish books, make videos, like anything you can think of. There's somebody over there, a group of people who are selling that service to help you further do whatever it is that you're doing. Fiverr.com, Fiverr. All right, so tomorrow, 2 o'clock, check with you, make sure. But tomorrow, let's probably look for me, 2 o'clock. Subscribe, share with a friend. We do the North Node. Sunday, man, please join this free webinar where we're going to really get it in and talk about the solution and join the Family Wealth Club, theprosperityinvestmentgroup.com. You already know it's the truth. So you might as well just go to theprosperityinvestmentgroup.com. You can go to the newsletter, drop your email off, but click on that new membership, join, man, and let's really get started. And let's really build some wealth and create some solutions for ourselves. All right? Peace.